everybody. Welcome to today's GoTarryn TV show. It's episode number 412, and today we're welcoming from Pensacola, Florida, Rosey. And Rosey, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today.
Absolutely no problem. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much again. We're honored. It's a true pleasure to have you here. And what I wanted to do, first of all, if it's okay, is kind of go through your wrestling career growing up. You come from the very prestigious Anoi'a family, and, arguably, I think that is pretty much the largest wrestling family in the history of professional wrestling. And so we could talk about that. You were trained with your uncle Afa from the Wild Samoan training facility, and some of the things that you've got going on at Epic Championship Wrestling as well. So we got a lot to cover. But my first question to you, Rosey, is, well, I guess first and foremost, how were your holidays and how was your New Year?
Everything was great. No problems at all. Everybody had a good holiday. Roman Reigns, my brother Joe, was able to be at home, and we all just kind of kicked back.
Good.
Probably did the thing everybody else did, except I think the only thing we had besides anybody else's was we eat fried rice with our turkey.
Oh, nice. I wish I would have been there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Instead of mashed potatoes, we do fried rice. So
That's
it's
awesome.
always good to go home to mom's and eat the stuff you grew up on.
That is tremendous. Well, listen, Rosey, I'm a huge wrestling fan, of course, and my wrestling days go back to watching your father and uncle, the Wild Samoans, in the then known as WWF, of course. And so you've got a strong lineage of a wrestling tradition in your family. And speaking of your brother Roman Reigns, of course, the current WWE champion, something that you and he have in common is that when I was doing my research and studying up on you, is that both y'all were into football, of course, Roman Reigns going to Georgia Tech, playing with the Yellow Jackets, and yourself, I believe you grew up in football with an aspiration and dream to eventually go to the NFL. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, of course. That's I think all of us at one point was in a football career aspiring to be NFL. A lot of my other cousins, like Rikishi and Samu and a couple other folks, they didn't quite make it past the high school level, so they joined wrestling at an early age. I was lucky enough, and my brother was lucky enough to get a scholarship out of it, and so I took it as far as I could, which the University of Hawaii was a fun place to sign my scholarship to. But then I also had the privilege of playing football for Ole Miss, so that's
right.
I switched it around a little bit. My brother, he spent his 5 years at Georgia Tech. I split mine up.
Yeah, that's right. And Georgia Tech is from my neck of the woods. I'm up here in Atlanta, Georgia. And now getting to when you were transitioning in the football and before you got into wrestling, is that when you had suffered a pretty serious ankle injury? Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I sprained my ankle in December of my senior year. And then, I got 2 screws to prove it. And it's never fun to walk through an airport, but at the same time, my window got shut quick. And which is the way it is in the NFL. If you're not 100%, at the time of, then, things happen. And then wrestling was always the go-to. I mean, I've got a degree in graphic design and commercial design. Obviously, I'm not opening up the Wild Samoans graphic and commercial design. So wrestling was always, in the front of my mind, but in the back of it after the NFL.
Okay, I got
So
you.
NFL was first, wrestling came second, and I'm damn glad it happened that way.
That's perfect timing, yeah, because everything fell into place just beautifully. And one more question about football, too. I think that, is it right, you went to the same school and played with Emmitt Smith?
I blocked for Emmett Smith.
That's awesome.
Let's see, for 6 years. We played 1 year down at Bellevue.
Okay.
And then at Bellevue Ballpark in Pensacola, Florida, and then I switched over to Myrtle Grove the next year.
Okay.
And then me and Emmett didn't see each other again until high school.
Okay. Okay.
So I blocked for Emmett. Yeah, I blocked for him for 3 years in high school. Yes.
That's really cool. And then fast forwarding into wrestling, and I think that this is around the time about 1995 when you moved to New York, and I think you went up there. You had the decision to make whether it was going to be between wrestling or acting at that time.
That was the other crossroads,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm definitely glad that wrestling pulled in. I made the right turn instead of the left.
Yep.
But yeah, I moved up solely to. It was going to be one of the two, and I was progressing very well in both fields. Wrestling just came quicker.
Right. Yeah. And, that worked out perfectly because, again, like I mentioned earlier at the start of the video blog, the Anoi'a family is just really rich in wrestling tradition. I can't even name how many championships. We'd probably run out of time and go past our video blog talking about all the titles and lineage that we have included there. But in you particular, when you started, if I have this right, you were trained by your uncle Afa at the Wild Samoan Training Facility, one of the most arguably best wrestling training that you can go through.
Right. My dad started me off in New Orleans, Louisiana in 95.
95.
I too, at that point, I knew I needed to get out of New Orleans. I needed to go up north. I mean, the Northeast is, hey, that's the mecca of professional wrestling. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to go anywhere in the United States, I'm going straight into into Hell's Kitchen, and I'm gonna light it on fire too. So that's where I wanted to go, and I ended up moving up to Long Island, New York, in a little town called Farmingdale, and started from there.
A quick question for you, Rosey. Before you made that decision, did the thought of moving to Atlanta or WCW ever enter your mind at all? Was that an option?
No, because my family's WWE.
Yeah, that's blood. Pretty much.
It was never. We got that offer, and we had that challenge thrown out to us. Probably skipping forward a little bit, but when me and my cousin Eki, Umaga or Jamal, whoever you want to call him,
right?
Whenever we started, we WWE Jim Ross let us know, hey, you're probably going to get calls, from WCW, because once everybody knows or gets wind of the fact that we're interested, they're going to want to try and counter. And I looked Jim Ross straight in his face and said, well, they already got in touch with us before you.
Wow. I never knew that.
So so if they already got in touch with us before you, obviously you know where our loyalty lies, and this is where we are. Nobody ever thought, that's kind of like asking me if I'm ever going to like another football team except the San Francisco 49ers. Not really. Ain't going to happen.
Not in this lifetime.
Nope.
Cool. So that's great. And again, being the son of Sika and the nephew of Afa, you had your opportunity to work right off the bat in the WWF, and starting off with then, I think there was some transition from there that you had both gone to Extreme Championship Wrestling sometime between 95 and 96?
Right. Kind of put it in order real quick. I started in 95 with my dad down in New Orleans.
Right.
I moved up to New York and started commuting over to my uncle's training facility.
Okay.
My uncle got me booked down in Puerto Rico, so I was working down there with my other cousin, Lloyd Anoi'a, which is one half of the Sons of Samoa,
Okay.
with formerly known as Manu.
Okay. Okay.
And then my uncle called me up while I was in Puerto Rico and said, "Hey, WWE called, so come back up to New York. You got a tryout." That's when me and my cousin Samu, which is Lloyd Anoi'a's older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should know Samu as being Samoan number 3 in WWF.
Mm-hmm.
And also head shrinker.
Head shrinkers,
Samu.
right? Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, nothing. Just we got a tryout. We did make the contract, and but there were some things that just happened that short-lived it, and we ended up moving over to ECW after that.
And then that's when you guys became the Samoan Gangsta Party. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a cool name. Who came up with that?
Paulie Shore. Paulie Dangerously.
What was it like working for him?
It was fun. I didn't know him. I didn't have the history with him as Samu did.
Mm-hmm.
But, just being in the ECW locker room at that point in time is basically, it was something that you damn were happy that you were a part of.
Yeah.
For however long it was, it didn't matter. We were only there for about 6 months. But at the same time, it was just those 6 months it was fun, man. I met a lot of lifetime friends there, and it was just, it was just that thing. ECW was the shit,
That's true.
And I was just happy that I got to be a part of that,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it seemed like it was a lot of fun too. Just watching it as a fan, from my perspective. I always enjoyed watching during that period.
Right. Oh, well, like I said, just working the bingo hall and then going back to the Travel Lodge and partying a little bit. It was, man, what else can you ask for at 26?
I guess the only thing
I already had hot bitches, so I wasn't worried about them. It was funner just to, be a part of that and have hot women.
The hot women, and then also, from what I understand, for your downtime, I believe you were a big avid gamer with Xbox.
I play Xbox, still do.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the race car games. Is that your favorite, or what do you like to play?
Need for Speed. I don't know why, but I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Racing games are good.
Yeah.
That's about all I play, really. I'll do a little Black Ops, but yeah, it's basically racing games for me.
Okay. And then getting back to so when you guys finished up in ECW, then chronologically, where did you guys end up at after that?
After ECW, my cousin Samu was still getting bookings for being a head shrinker. Okay. So, and plus our age difference was a little bit off. And when I decided to move back to Pensacola, Florida, that's when me and my other cousin Eki, Jamal Umaga.
Yep.
That's when we started tagging a little bit. And we started it. It was more of just doing it to do it down here, working for my dad's company, XW2000.
Okay.
But we ran into Sabu. Actually, my cousin Eki had a match booked with him over in Dothan, Alabama, and I rode along just to go.
Oh, cool.
And
okay.
And that's when Sabu had let us know that FMW was looking for people like me and him. And that's kind of solidified the tag team then.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Because we jumped on it, just as quick as you could, So once me and Eki started going to FMW, it just kind of formed into that. Rikishi had pulled me aside one day at a barbecue in his backyard and looked at me and said, Jim Ross wants to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
To try you out when they come to Mobile, Alabama. And that's when I looked at Junior and was like, well, me and your brother are partners, so he's going to have to look at both of us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That I'm not rolling singles. I'm, you know, and that's pretty much how, you know, how 3 Minute Warning got started.
Okay, good. And now let me ask this: what were you guys when you guys were in Heartland Wrestling Association? That was around the time of the merge and WCW being absorbed in WWE. What were you guys doing at that point? You guys weren't 3 Minute Warning till you got called up to Raw. Is that correct?
Right. We were still on contract though.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so the big break.
We were on contract with WWE 3 years before we got put on TV.
Right. Okay. Okay.
We did a little stint down in Memphis, as when they had the developmental league there.
Okay.
And then obviously that's when they moved stuff up to Cincinnati and OVW and Louisville.
Gotcha.
And they sent half of us that made the cut to Cincinnati, and then the other half to Louisville. So Randy, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, all those guys went down there. Me, Eki, Charlie Haas, and a few other folks. Charlie was down in Louisville, but all the WCW boys were with us. Oh man, Shannon Moore, Jimmy Yang, Jamie Noble, all those guys. Johnny the Bull.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So we got sent up there, and then, to be honest with you, we went up to TV in Cleveland, and be honest with you, me, Eki, and Steve Bradley, rest his soul, went up to Cleveland to be, involved with Raw, because we just didn't want to go to training on Monday. we would have rather went, drive 5 hours to go to Cleveland and hang out, at Raw, because honestly, that's where we felt we needed to be.
Absolutely. Well, again, it worked out in your favor. I got to say, you guys were scary as hell as 3 Minute Warning. Can you tell me the memories you have of course, Eki and yourself with the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young? I think that is the most terrifying segment I've ever watched in the history of TV.
Oh, that was fun. You know why? Because I was raised with Moolah. She's anti-Moolah to me.
I did not know that. Wow.
Well, being younger, a lot younger, not, like up in my teens or anything, but
yeah,
I just remember her when I was a very little baby, and this was before WWE. This was right before she got into WWF. Excuse me.
Okay.
And
okay.
I remember from that far back. I don't remember Mae, but just knowing Mae through the years, here and there, that was my honor to go in there and beat the shit out of her. I loved it. I mean, I loved it. That's, you don't get to work with legends like that every now and then. I'm privileged enough to be able to have worked against a few legends in professional wrestling, and those two are one of them.
When that happened, were you pretty scared? Were you kind of, anxious about making sure you didn't hurt them, or how did you feel?
No.
You felt very...
I don't know.
So it was just pretty easy for you. It was just a walk in the park and just came secondhand.
Those girls are in it to win it.
Yeah.
And that's when you know.
True professionals.
That's exactly when you know. When you're in there,
yeah, it's
going to happen. And I ain't holding back. That's live TV on Monday Night Raw. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I ain't holding back a damn thing.
And
they know that.
It was
and
crazy.
They would be pissed off at me if I did hold back.
Right, right. Yeah, well, again, it says a lot of the four of y'all in that performance, all four of you, how professional you guys were. Because, again, you pulled it off just perfectly. I watched that live when that happened, and I almost thought for a second it was a shoot. I was like, oh, my God, what's wrong with these guys? It was, oh, man, it had me
You
just...
want the real shoot? Watch the one where me and Eki fucked up the lesbians.
Oh, that was I remember that's the Eric Bischoff Hot Lesbian Action HLA segment during Raw.
Right? That's it.
That brings me to this. What was your impression of working, because for all purposes he was kind of like your manager or your go-to guy. How was working with Eric Bischoff during that time?
Awesome when we saw him, but during, the middle of the day we didn't see him a lot,
Okay.
Eric was usually often if he's not taking care of business, he's off in the corner reading a book or something and kind of keeping to himself. So
okay,
we didn't really see him a ton through, unless we had rehearsal or something to do, that needed going over.
Okay.
But we never really just sat on and was hanging out with him or anything like that. But at the same time, we did, on the other hand, during the Hogan tour in Australia, spend a lot of time together. And just for then, Eric Bischoff, he might not be on the best page of a lot of people, but he's good to go with me.
Good. How about Hulk Hogan? Same question.
Of course. That's Uncle Terry. Of course, man. It's every time he's in, he would be in at the show, the Monday Night Raw or pay-per-view. Me and Eki were in his locker room getting, changed out and stuff.
That's awesome. And then
I've just done so long that he's, good people.
No, that's great. That is terrific. I remember another controversial segment during that time. Again, that was a pretty hot time. I think it was on a WWE SmackDown, and I believe it was the wedding of Billy and Chuck. And you guys came out and beat the shit out of them. What is your memories of that segment as well?
That I absolutely had no idea that the priest or reverend was Bischoff.
No way! Come on.
I promise you. And I sat and talked to his ass like during the day. Nobody knew that was nobody, not me, not Eki, nobody. The only ones that knew he was him was the writers and Vince, apparently.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
We had no freaking clue, even to the point that when we went out.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Of course, when we came out of the segment, Vince first, Stephanie second, Agent third, and Stephanie was just looking at me. I was like, y'all motherfuckers are just funny like that. He started laughing and was like, yeah, we knew that'd get you. I was like, yeah.
Oh right, my God, that's crazy. I would never have, oh man, that's insane.
I had no idea.
Wow.
And that was apparently, I think what came out of her mouth was shock value or something like that. I don't know, something that was uninhibited. And I was like, yeah, well, you worked. It worked.
It did, because again, you guys were so creative, and during your segments, I really enjoyed watching you guys because you were just so intense and like serious. Like anybody could turn it on the TV and watch and be like, "Oh my God, are these guys like serious? Or they're crazy." Because you guys beat up Stephanie McMahon, and then you guys beat up Billy and Chuck, and a lot of the segments you guys had again was just roughing up a lot of people.
Right. I know that. I wish I would have. I wish we would have pumped our brakes a little bit on that, but. It is what it was, and but either way, obviously the after the fact is Eki came out with a kick-ass character in Umaga, and
Yeah.
And I came up with a kick-ass character and tagging with somebody that I wouldn't have probably ever known, but he turns out that he's like my little brother in Hurricane. So, you know, so it both worked out for good reasons. But, you know, at the same time, anytime anybody asks if I'd rather be 3-minute warning or superhero in training, 3-minute warning, hands down, that's family. But if it would have happened any other way, never would I ever want somebody other than Shane Helms. You know,
that speaks a lot of him. Now, before we go into talking specifically about him, here's a generic question: did you prefer wrestling as a heel or a baby face?
Heel.
Definitely heel. Like no hesitation. You just went ahead. Okay. Now, when you were
yeah, sorry, I didn't mind being a baby face at all, but it just heel straight up. That's the way I was raised. That's how I saw wrestling. You know, my dad was a heel.
Sure, absolutely.
And even back then, there wasn't that cross thing between you being a kick-ass heel and then turning babyface by the crowd. Back then, they turned you babyface from the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see fans turn my dad and uncle face.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way I kind of saw it was you're a heel, and if you want to be a face, then you can be a face. But I just always thought I made a meaner face, and I don't like my smile. It's not that great. So
you're too hard on yourself.
I have a better mean face than I do a smiley.
Well, again, you might not give yourself enough credit because I think personally, as a fan, you pulled off Rosey the superhero tremendously, and teaming up with Hurricane Helms, you also did something that I'm sure just must have just made your wrestling career feel all the more complete when you won the tag team championship, doing something that your father, your uncle, a lot of the other family members, that have done. What did it feel like at that moment when you won the WWE Tag Team Championship with Hurricane Helms?
When I won the belt, actually, when we won the belt, I separated myself from Hurricane real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously it was a celebration, but I did separate myself from him real quick to let me just throw off a mental note. And the only thing that I was able to say when I put myself over in the corner was, "Fuck, Dad, I hope you're watching." You know?
Was he watching?
I was like, I hope you're watching. And then, of course, just that was it, man. That's every kid's dream, I hope, is that if their dad's doing something that makes them, proud, and you do that. And that's what I'm trying to do now with my son, is to make sure that, he has something that he can be proud of me over. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I could do, and that was the first thing running through my mind was, I just hope you're watching.
That's...
If not, wait till the WWE Network comes on for just $99, and we can see it again.
Do you know, was he watching, do you know, at that moment?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, like you said, you got it on the network.
Just as quick as we won it and we finished, when we walked in the back, now it's time to push that away and start working on how we're going to keep them.
Well, again, you guys did wonderfully. How was it overall working with Shane Helms? How did you enjoy that experience?
I love he's that little bastard. I love him to death. I do. He's a Southern boy.
Yep.
I was raised in Pensacola. He's raised in North Carolina.
Yep.
just it, it was good. I know there was times I probably pissed him off, and there was times he might piss me off, which I probably pissed him off more than he pissed me off. Uh, but man, Shane's he's right on.
That says a lot.
I would be more than happy. Just he knows it. He's a good guy.
That is super cool.
You don't run into people like that. There's a lot of people, just for me working in tag teams, and I can see how tag teams are.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of people that me and him worked against. You can see it. There's no real bond to them, But the way the tag team works in my family is they're all normally relatives.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the way I felt that me and Shane, he's my Uso. He's damn sure every bit of a part of the Samoan dynasty.
Wow. If he's listening to this, I'm sure he's gonna be quite honored. And if I had to put money on it, he'd be saying the same thing about you as well, being a good big brother to him.
Oh hell, he'd probably just sit there and look at me and say, "Why are you doing the Elaine band?" That's probably something you can ask him whenever you interview him.
There you go. I'd love to have him on. Let me ask you this, and then we move forward to another huge accomplishment. Can you share your memories a few years later when you were able to induct your father and your uncle into the WWE Hall of Fame?
That was a sight, and that was something that will never get forgotten. I can tell you that. But yeah, I mean, just to be able to go out there and honor your dad, and the whole time, I don't know if a lot of people, you probably couldn't tell, but the whole time that I was throwing my speech out, which I had to kind of call it on the fly because I had just flown in directly from Japan and they put me in the limo, took me straight to the Hall of Fame. I put my suit on and we walked out. So the whole 15 hours that I'm on a flight, I didn't write shit down because I was sleeping, trying to catch up to United States time. So yeah, everything that I said was pretty much not written down. But the only thing that just sticks out in my head was, the whole time I'm speaking, I'm looking at my brother, my sisters, and family,
Yeah.
And I remember seeing my brother's face.
Oh, man.
You'll see that smile on him. I can't explain what that smile is, but every now and then on Raw, you'll see that smile, and that's what I remember is, my sisters, my brother, everybody had that same smile, and it was like, shit.
Oh.
That's what we got in common. We all got that same respect and that same admiration, and this is what our dad did for us,
That's awesome. Wow. Well, again, in the Anoi'a family bloodline, just greatness runs with, former WWE heavyweight champions. Your cousin is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and also the late great Yokozuna. And again, as a fan growing up, I can tell you, it's just an honor and true pleasure to watch your whole family compete, and it's just amazing. Now, let's switch gears a little bit here, and can we talk about what you're currently doing down in Pensacola with Epic Championship Wrestling?
Well, I moved down to Florida. I was up in Cincinnati, Ohio for a little while, but I moved down to Florida to get a few things corrected with my hip and my knee, some injuries that I've created over WWE years. But then my dad was like, let's run.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay.
Wow.
So it's pretty much as easy as that. Let's do something. But I just didn't want to do XW2000. I wanted to create a whole new company,
Okay.
and that Epic Championship Wrestling was a company that I was actually supposed to start up in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
But I knew I had a better success rate coming down to Florida with my dad, and working down here with some of the folks that I know down here, which Ox Haney, Barroom Brawler, Elliot, Larry Lotto, and Steve Fury, and all these guys that has worked for my dad for years.
Nice.
I know how they think. I know what's going through their mind, and they know what's going through my mind. So it just seemed like a better fit to come back down to the Gulf Coast and make it work, and God willing, that's what we're doing,
That's awesome. So what are some of the events that y'all have been running? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we've been running our mainstay, basically, quote unquote, home base is Milton, Florida, at the Santa Rosa County Auditorium.
Okay.
And we definitely run there once a month. We run in Pensacola once a month. We run over down towards Panama City. We'll be going there in February. And I kind of spent the first 5 months, just sticking to Milton, getting the roster right, getting everybody, to know their role, and let everybody get comfortable with what they're doing, to make sure that this company is as successful as possible. Mm-hmm. And yeah, to be honest with you, we're steadily moving forward. Having someone like Elliot Wiggins, which is Larry Lotto, years of experience in independent wrestling, and his wisdom, and then having someone like DJ Pringle, son of Piercy. Correct me.
Is that William Moody?
Right.
For all the fans out there, Paul Bear, the late Paul Bear.
Exactly. Well, yeah, having him involved with the company is it's good. We're not messing around, and it's fun. I got we'll have one of our students, or younger students, trying out with WWE in February. Her name's Noelle Jones.
Nice.
So it's we're just kind of moving forward, and there's a lot of great talent down here, and I'm not gonna turn my back on them, man. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure all of them get the best experience out of being a professional wrestler as I have.
That is so cool. What are some of the hats that you're wearing with Epic Championship Wrestling? Like, what are some of the roles that you're having to do? Are you? I would imagine you're training some of the wrestlers there, as well as are you taking?
Right.
And you're doing some of the bookings and promoting for the company as well?
Well, yeah, I take on the role of booking and promoting, and we do run training right now, the day of the show, and Steve Fury, which was trained by the Dynasty.
Okay.
He handles the training with everybody, with me and my dad, at the ring, making sure everything, we'll interrupt when we need to. But everybody there knows that when Steve Fury is in the ring with them, they're getting trained exactly the way we would show them. But we're there as well. It's just to make sure everything's good, overseeing stuff, and man, we just try and do what we do, and make sure that we're pumping out the absolute best product that the Samoan that would be expected from us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's great. If there's anybody who's listening right now out there, Rosey, that might be interested in coming to train and possibly be a student at Epic Championship Wrestling, what is the method of contact? Can they call or directly email you or the trainer there directly?
Right. You can get in touch with Sandy Miller,
Okay.
and his phone number
Uh-huh.
is 850
Okay.
293
Okay.
8113, and he's the director of marketing and things like that. And he's basically my right hand. So get in touch with him, let him, fill out, get the information from you, and then the next phone call will be me.
Perfect.
Which
And then
will get me.
okay, and on the flip side of that coin, if there's somebody who's listening out there and they want to come watch Epic Championship Wrestling, or they want to learn more about it, and they want to, just catch some of the matches, is there a current website or a Facebook page right now?
There is a website. It's epicchampionshipwrestling.com.
Okay.
And then Facebook would be Epic Championship Wrestling /Facebook, however many of those numbers that go after it. And
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool. So
just punch up Epic Championship Wrestling, and
okay.
and then you can get all the information from there. Twitter is Epic CW,
Okay.
capital CW,
Okay.
and I think that's all we are, unless Sandy decided to up the ante on different websites. I'm not very big on the all the. I think there's Swarm and
Yeah.
Snap and all that. So I'm old school. I'm too old for that. So I let these young kids.
It's a
I
new
let
world.
these young kids correct that.
Oh, this
This is
social
one-
net. Yeah, the social media is just taking over. It's a new world out there. It's crazy.
Well, it's to the point that I have to have a phone call from them at least 3 days a week for updates. Because everything that's put on there comes out of my mouth.
Ah, I see. Okay.
It's not. Don't anybody that's listening, don't get it wrong. Whatever you're seeing on that website is coming out of my mouth. It's just I'm not the one typing it.
Okay, no, that's good to know. And then switching gears, let's talk about your restaurant that you have, Two Bradas, and it's real roadside barbecue. Can we talk about that? And what is Two Bradas, the real roadside barbecue?
Two Brothers is a step back. Not a step back. It's actually a step forward. I used to own a restaurant up in Cincinnati after I got through with the WWE.
Yep.
Which was Island Boy Barbecue.
Right.
So obviously, my interest in food is is great. Anybody that sees a picture of me now, they'll be like, "Yep, he likes food." But whenever I moved back down here, of course, a longtime friend of mine, Bobby Miner, that's been in the restaurant industry for years, since we've been to high school together. We were sitting on the couch playing 8-ball pool.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, let's start doing roadside. It's like, okay. And that's basically how it started. So we're actually in the process of opening a restaurant. We're still doing roadside just for namesake wise, like getting our name out and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
And so as far as the barbecue business goes, it's just something that I like to do. I don't want to call it a hobby,
right?
But at the same time, it's something that I like to do, and it also obviously makes people feel better. And shit, who doesn't want to come in and eat some food? It's just, and but the good thing is that we make good food.
I love it. I love barbecue. In addition to that, too, I think I saw from your advertisement as well, you offer parties, catering, fundraising, special occasions.
Exactly, and that's nationwide. So anybody that needs to get or wants their party catered by former WWE Tag Team Champion Rosey and Pitmaster Bobby Minor, hire us. I'm not
Cool.
far away from anybody.
Okay. How?
Across the world,
Yeah. How can they get in touch with you and Bobby Minor directly if they're interested in booking an event?
that they can call me directly.
Okay.
My phone number is 850
Mm-hmm.
206-8845.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. I love the picture too. The
For some reason, I got a feeling my phone's going to blow up.
hey, that'll be good though. As long as you don't get a bunch of marks calling you up and hey, I heard you talking about
Oh,
wrestling.
gee. I don't think a bunch of marks are going to call me on an internet radio interview. Nah. Hey, all right. Hopefully all of your serious barbecue entrepreneurs that really want me to come barbecue in your backyard.
Exactly. Now, let's get back one more time to the wrestling because I have one last question for you, and I really do appreciate your time here, Rosey. But as far as
420, so hurry.
yes, exactly. We got to get you going. 420. Okay, so we've got Macomb, Mississippi, at the Pike County Theater coming up, which is near Hattiesburg, Mississippi, next Saturday, January the 16th. Bell time 7 p.m. You are going to be in the main event and highlighted with Power Slam Productions Fight Night 2 and a very dear close friend of mine, Wes Adams. What are your thoughts on that upcoming event itself?
I'm scared. Thanks to Wes Adams, this is going to be the first match I got back after getting cleared from my cardiologist. So for the folks that know me and follow me on Facebook, a lot of them know that I had a heart condition for a minute.
And that was about a year ago, roughly? Is that right, Rosey?
About a year and a half ago, I guess.
Okay, I think I do recall that. I didn't realize this was your first match since then, though. That's interesting.
This is going to be my first match, so everybody that's in the Macomb area, Hattiesburg area,
Yep.
bring it.
Yes, absolutely.
There's going to be a couple guys in there that is not going to like it.
Well, we're looking forward to having you out there again. It's going to be a treat to watch you there. Are you going to be having some of your gimmicks and the superhero masks or anything that people can purchase from you?
Yes, sir. We'll have some pictures. It's going to be a light show.
Okay.
Apparently I'm riding in a car that is, I think I'm bigger than the car, but yeah, so I'm going to bring a light load, so there'll be some Samoan Dynasty shirts in there.
Oh, sweet.
Have the group picture of, I don't know if anyway, it's seen it on my Facebook page. We'll have the group Samoan Dynasty picture, and then we also got a couple other Samoan Dynasty shirts.
Okay.
And then obviously we'll have pictures that, 8x10s of me, of course, and me and Jamal, and me and my brother.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Well, I can't wait. Again, this is going to be a true treat for everybody there. Again, if anyone's listening in the Hattiesburg, Greater Macomb area, next Saturday, January 16th, bell time 7 p.m., you want to catch Rosey, the superhero, in his in-ring return at Fight Night 2 with Power Slam Productions. Rosey, thank you so much for your time. And again, it was truly an honor and pleasure to get you here on our audio podcast. And next time, if you're available via video Skype, we'll get you one-on-one here for a video interview. What do you say?
We can do it. No problem.
That'll be great. Well, again, we've covered a lot of things today, and again, I just can't thank you so much for your time and coming out here on GoTarryn TV today. I really do appreciate it, Rosey.
Hey, Tarryn, no problem, man. Thank you. People that are listening, make sure that you're listening and keep listening, because this is the real deal. So don't ever fade away from what's going on right now.
Hey,
Listen to who's there.
Thank you
It's
so much.
100% guaranteed, Jack.
All right, everybody, there you had it. A true professional wrestling veteran, Rosey the Superhero. And I got to say, we were so honored to have him here on GoTarryn TV. And, of course, of the prestigious Anoi'a family. And it's just a pleasure and true honor to have him here on GoTarryn TV. So we're happy to have Rosey here. Again, like I said, folks, you don't want to miss him on Saturday, January 16th in Macomb, Mississippi at Power Slam Productions Fight Night 2. We've been hyping it up for a long time. You're going to be seeing the in-ring return after roughly a year and a half of Rosey the Superhero in the ring, so you get a chance to meet him and get your picture taken with him, check out some of his gimmicks, his pictures, and you don't want to miss him at the Super Power Slam Productions Fight Night 2 event, and I'll be there, and we'll be documenting it. And again, I just learned so much about that gentleman, and a true wonderful guy in Rosey. And again, Rosey, keep up the great work. It'll be great to meet you in person and shake your hand at that event. And I got to say, off the record, when Rosey and I were finished, I got to say, I was laughing a lot during that interview. I was telling him that he missed his true calling. He could, if he wanted, to be a stand-up comic, because he was just really entertaining. And, you know, Rosey, I can't thank you enough. You really made my day, and we had a lot of fun here on GoTarryn TV. So that's what it's all about. And that'll wrap up episode number 412 for you. And again, thanks so much for watching, folks. If this is your very first time watching GoTarryn TV, I invite you to check out the website link at the bottom of your screen right there, www.gotarryn.tv. Bookmark that as a favorite to your web browser today, and tell 2 people about the website as well. Also, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love it if you could please make sure to like GoTarryn on Facebook, subscribe to GoTarryn on YouTube, follow GoTarryn on Twitter, and that way you'll stay connected with Tarryn the Traveling Trainer of GoTarryn Personal Training right here on GoTarryn TV, who tells each and every one of you that it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll see you on the next video blog, and in the meantime, Rosey the Superhero, folks, check him out.